यदा यदा हि धर्मस्य
ब्रह्मादिभ्यो ब्रह्म विद्या संप्रदाय कर्तृभ्यो वंशऋषभ्यो महद्भ्यो नमो गुरुभ्यः सर्वोपप्लवरहित प्रज्ञान घन प्रत्यगर्थो ब्रह्माहमस्मि सोहमस्मि ब्रह्माहमस्मि। ओम प्रपन्न पारिजाताय तोत्र वेत्रैकपाणये ज्ञानमुद्राय कृष्णाय गीतामृतदुहे नमः। May the Almighty Shri Lord Venkateshwara bestow all kinds of prosperity, health, wealth and eternal happiness with Paripurna Lakshmi Katakshams to you and the entire your family and friends. Let us begin Bhagavad Gita. Verse number 3 of 15th chapter. Shri Bhagavan Uvacha Narupamasye Hatatopalabhyate नान्तो न चादि न च संप्रतिष्ठा अश्वत्थमेनं सुविरूढमूलम् असंगशस्त्रेण दृढेन छित्त्वा. We began from the last session to become more clear about the similarity between samsara vriksha and ashwatha vriksha. Samsara means, as we have learnt, that which is the cause of all suffering. And even suffering also can be understood. It's a part of samsara vriksha. Every individual, we own our own vriksha, that which is endowed with mahatvam, which we saw as the first similarity. Mahatvam, it's vast, huge samsara. We cannot measure it, and which cannot be decided the beginning, originated, the time of the beginning. And which goes endless, it keeps going. That was the second similarity which we saw yesterday. The third one was having anirvachyatva. Anirvachyatva means what? Which cannot be described. Now therefore we got an example. The example Ashwatha tree. So now this Ashwatha tree will give a kind of figurative sense of our samsara vriksha, but the quality which are compared with, that has to be as the norms of this samsara vriksha. The samsara vriksha which cannot be described in the words. We cannot even apply logically uncategorizable entities known as samsara vriksha. Then the fourth similarity which we saw was molavatvam, that which has got strong root, but the roots are invisible. Everything, it has got its own connection with the main root. What is the main root? Main root is Ishvara. Every incident, accidents, every thoughts, every part of our body, every atom of this world is connected with Ishvara. Though it creates lots of samsara among the people, but controlled by Ishvara alone. Therefore, Maya Sagita Pratibimba, Brahma Pratibimba Chaitanyam alone becomes the root for it, Ishvara. Then fifth similarity was Shakhavatvam. It has got so many branches. We saw elaborately the meaning of it too. Then the sixth one is Parnavatvam. Parnavatvam means what? Having many leaves in it. Like that every time, every second of our life is unique. Like a leaves. So one leaf, it gets completeness. Then after a few days or few months, it is dropped. The next leaf comes as a sprout. Like that every incident is like a live for us. There are so many incidents in a day. At that time we will have so many experiences, varieties of experiences which are connected to. Now for example, when you write an exam, so we can say giving an exam, writing an exam, pursuing an exam, whatever the way you can understand, please understand. After writing the exam, your paper is going to be done correction by somebody. You don't know which time it is going to be. So now, so when that person is correcting your paper and you are getting positive result, at the same time you can have a hell kind of experience at your home. You might be having fight with somebody, or you might be hitting with someone, or you might be sleeping. That's what at once your karma palas are fructifying in various level, in various places, in various time. At the same time, it can be many fruits, or many time can be brought into one fruit. So many efforts, like which I said, so my Sanskrit teacher, who was born next to my door, means he was born as a neighbor. So 1 year before he was born, but he was not there. He went so many places and he came and he lived his life as a sadhu, as a sannyasi in Kashi. I met him after 30 years. Then we could have classes. My God, I was looking for a Sanskrit teacher, at least minimum for 7 years. Then I got him. Like all fruits can be connected in one place. So all fruit means all events. So many events, they may look or appear in different way, but they may give the similar or the same impact or one impact in our life. That is what the uniqueness of the samsara vriksha. We cannot define. So how it works, when it works, it sometimes this Mayaji, Mayaji means a power which has got two kinds of power in it, veiling capacity and projecting capacity. She does so many drama. All dramas finally causes for suffering, happiness or sadness. Therefore, this Parnavatvam is the sixth similarity. Then the seventh similarity is Phalavatvam. It's fruitful. So what kind of fruit it is? Action-based fruits. This samsara fructifies varieties of fruits. This fruit varies man to man. At a time, you serve food. You are serving similar food, means one food to all, I think, hundreds of people. All of them will have different experience with that food. According to their karma phala, they will fructify while having food itself. Some people, they may not be concentrated with the food which they eat. Some people, more concentrated. Some people are focused on the varieties. Some people are focused on the taste. Some people focused on the rate, how much the food it would be. So all minds are not same. Though the food are same, all the minds, and while performing that karma, people might be scattered with their mind according to their karma phala. Therefore, the samsara vriksha is a Vishwarupa vriksha. Like, my God, it's very difficult to realize that samsara vriksha exists in us. Once you realize what we have to do, we have to slay this samsara vriksha. The cut verb also, it won't give that much importance. We have to slay, we have to, uproot the samsara. Otherwise, we cannot gain the moksha. Now you see, samsara must be uprooted, it has to be slayed, not Ishwaratvam in it. Therefore, slaying samsara vriksha is the process of spiritual seeking. Now, the spiritual progress should help you to uproot the samsara vriksha or slay the samsara vriksha. That's what the meaning is given in the second line of verse number 3. Ashwatham. Yenam ashwatham suvirudham asanga shastrena dridhena chitva. Having cut this samsara vriksha with its root, it's a main root, that's all. The shloka is incomplete. We have to go to the next shloka. Now we have completed 7 similarity between Samsara Vriksha and Ashwatha Vriksha. Ashwatha Vriksha, which we can pursue, which we can understand, which we can experience. But Samsara Vriksha, which is beyond our understanding, but we can understand through this Ashwatha Vriksha. Now the quality of Ashwatha Vriksha is pointed out as 7 points. Those 7 points are having similarity with the Samsara Vriksha. So what was the first one? Mahatvam means a hugeness. The second one, Adhyantarahitatvam, beginningless and endingless. The third one is Anirvajyam, which cannot be defined. We call it logically uncategorizable. Then the fourth one is Mulavatvam, having root in it, that is Ishvara. Then Sakhavatvam, having many branches. Then Paranavatvam, having many leaves. And Phalavatvam. Phalavatvam means having fruit or fructifying fruit. These 7 similarities, it symbolizes the 7 kinds of qualities of Samsara Vriksha. That Phalam, that Phalavatvam means in what? That Phalam brings the bondage. Now the bondage is known as Samsara. That bondage alone causes for the problem. This is the proper understanding. When we slay or uproot the tree, we get rid of all kinds of this problem. All kinds of problem means what? Karmapala brings many varieties of problems. Sometimes problems are understood, sometimes we are not able to understand what problem exactly we do have. That problem named as samsara. That's a samsara. Whatever the experiences which brings the problem to human being is known as samsara. That experience of that problem which is said as a painful experience, that too samsara. Now, what I am saying, can you understand? The cause of the problems and the experience of the problems, 3 of them are called samsara. The impact of samsara vriksha. Now the vriksha to be slayed, so we can slay the vriksha in 4 methods, in 4 ways. That's what Krishna begins from the second line of verse number 3. Here he says, what is the first method? The first method, we have to slay the samsara vriksha with vairagya. This is the first method. Vairagya means what? Dispassion. Dispassion means what? Dispassion is the maturity. Maturity means what? The maturity which is caused by Viveka Shakti. Viveka Shakti means what? Distinguishing capacity. Distinguishing capacity means what? Once you come to know there are eternal things, non-eternal things, then what? Automatically, if your mind has got vairagya, vairagya means the dispassion towards anitya, then passion towards satya. Now, dispassion means what? Having detachment with anityas and having passion towards nitya. Now, passion towards nitya is called dispassion. Okay? Dispassion means vairagya, means it's not hating the world, it's not hating something. No. That's what meaning we usually understand. Dispassion means, the person is so vairagya. So, father and sons are, they are observing vairagya. How? They're not talking each other for 5 years, How strong vairagya, you see? It's not vairagya at all. It is adamant. They are adamant. Becoming vairagya means not having hatred or aversion towards world. That's what vairagya. Asanga shastrena means with vairagya. With vairagya, which is established with the help of Viveka Shakti, we can uproot or slay this tree. That is the first method to slay the tree. Then what about other methods? Just we can have the list of other methods. The second is, it is said, Sharanagatihi. Sharanagatihi means what? Prapattihi. Prapattihi means what? Bhaktihi. Bhakti means what? devotion. Again I am coming. Sharanagati means what? Total surrender. Total surrender to who? Total surrender to Ishvara. That's the second method. And these all methods are mandatory. No optional at all. All methods have to be applied in order to slay this tree. Otherwise, it is impossible. So all method includes the grace of Ishvara. Mama maya duratyaya mameva ye prapatyante mayam etam taranti te etam mayam taranti te ye mam prapadyante. This maya can be crossed over by the people who surrender to me. Therefore, the Sharanagati becomes the next method, the second method. That second method is to become surrender, or is to surrender to Lord Ishvara. That is what is said here in the fourth verse. Let us read it. Tatah padam tat parimargitavyam yasmin gatana nivartanti bhuyah tameva chadyam purusham prapadye yatah pravritteh prasurta purani. That is the second method. Let us complete how many methods are remaining. Two more methods are remaining. Let us see the name. The third one, we call it Brahma Vicharaha, inquiry of Brahman. Usually it is put as a second method. Okay, second method. Inquiry helps us to come to know who is Ishvara. The inquiry begins with ourself. The second chapter itself begins with the self-inquiry. We call it Atma Vidya, Brahma Vidya. Then it goes and it talks about the world. It talks about the God. All inquiries together called the Vedanta inquiry, or Brahma Vicharaha, Brahman, the inquiry of Brahman. That is the third one. Then fourth one is Sadgunaha. The surrender before attaining knowledge, the surrender after attaining knowledge, it differs. Before attaining the knowledge about Ishvara, the surrendering is not complete. Trying to surrender. Once we understand who is Ishvara, who am I, and what is the relationship between both of us, then you will be able to surrender 100%. That is the beauty of this Vedanta Shastra. The final is Sadgunaha. We have to be in contact with Sadguna, or we have to adapt Sadguna. These Sadgunas are very important, which was introduced in the 13th chapter. Amanitvamadam bhetvam ahimsa kshanti rajyavam acharyopasanam shaucham sthairyam vinigraha. So like there are 20 virtues, Vedantic friendly virtues, or we called it life friendly virtues, must be adopted, must be observed. That is the fourth method. By having these four methods, by adapting these four methods, or by bringing these four methods, we will be able to successfully slay the samsara vriksha. Otherwise it is impossible. Now spiritual life means what? You can imagine, a person who is with axe. We are having axe. What can be the weapon? The weapon is knowledge. Pursuing knowledge, coming to know the detail about the action, having proper knowledge of action, having proper knowledge of fruit of action, having knowledge about our system, having knowledge about the world, having knowledge about the Ishvara. And once we have the knowledge about Ishvara, we should have knowledge how to surrender to Ishvara. That's what we call it bhakti. He means transaction. This transaction is not giving and taking. This transaction is to give only. We are not going to take anything, but Bhagavan will give himself to us. That is the beauty of this. Marvelous infrastructure. There is no complication at all. Chapter by chapter, chapter by chapter. If you start reading from 15 to 13, 13 to 15, you can see the steps. the steps which was introduced in the 13th chapter. 5 steps. First is Karma Yoga, then Upasana Yoga, then third is Jnana Yoga. Jnana Yoga consists of 3 varieties of parts or amshas, which we call it Shravana, Manana, Nididhyasana. That is the 5 steps. But these 4 methods which talks about the Phalam, Jnana Phalam. Jnana Phalam means fruit of complete knowledge of spiritual activities or complete benefit by having spiritual progress. He said complete benefit is what? Nivritti, dukkhasya nivrittihi, dukkha karanasya nivrittihi, means the cause of all kinds of suffering, which is known as samsara vrikraha, is slayed. That is the benefit, that is the fruit. We will continue from next session tomorrow. Harihi Om. Om Purnamadah Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnamevavashishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Harihi Om. Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Harihi Om.